and welcome back to Doing Life with Itzy on a Bitsy Budget. Today we will be making a pound cake in the kitchen, so let's get started. I'm ready to get started. So let's look at the ingredients we're going to need to make this pound cake. Now this is an old-fashioned pound cake. It does not have sour cream in it. I know that some of you may be familiar with a sour cream pound cake, but that's not what we're going to be baking today. We're just going to make a standard pound cake. We're going to need eggs, 5 eggs. We're going to need 2 sticks of butter, which these are just half butters, sugar, flour, salt, vanilla, baking powder, some cooking spray. I'm going to put my butter in, which is 2 sticks, and then a half of a cup of Crisco. So I'll go ahead and put that in the mixer, and then I'll mix that up and come back over to you so you don't have to listen to the mixer run. It'll take about 2 minutes. Okay, I've got it all mixed up, the Crisco and the butter, and I've taken my spatula and gone around on the outside here and put it in. And now I'm going to add my sugar. A lot of these recipes from scratch say you can put your sugar in and your butter when you're creaming it all at the same time. I like to get my butter and Crisco mixed and then add the sugar. So the recipe calls for 3 cups of sugar. So I'll go ahead and add my 3 cups of sugar. And then I'll cream this, and I'll show you how it looks when it is creamed enough. The main thing with this pound cake is you want to make sure that these ingredients are really mixed well when you're making the cake.
Okay, I have 2 questions. First.
Okay.
What attachment are you using for?
I'm still using the paddle attachment.
Okay, and then did you use salted or unsalted butter?
Oh, salted butter. Unless a recipe calls for unsalted, I never use unsalted, and it's very few recipes that do. But if they do, there's a reason for it, so make sure you're using the unsalted. Also, I preheated my oven to 325. I've got that heating up. All right, I'll go ahead and mix this, and we'll be back. I just want to show you something. This is about halfway through. Maybe you can get this is not creamy enough. So what I do at this point is I go ahead and take my spatula and I scrape it from the sides. Just put it right back down in there. And then turn it back on. It needs to be a lot more creamier than this. And I'd say we've been mixing about 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to continue to mix now, and then I'll come back and show you the end result. Okay, we've got it good and creamy. You can see in here the texture has really changed, and it's a soft, fluffy type texture. Now we're going to add the eggs. There's 5 of them, one at a time. When we add the eggs, we're just going to put one in, and then we're going to mix after each one. It should be a real fluffy mixture at that point, and I'll show you. Let me go ahead and add the eggs, and then we'll come back. You can show it. All right, I've got all 5 eggs blended in. Jennifer, if you want to just kind of show them what it looks like. It's, again, just kind of turned more yellow, but it's a little creamier than it was before. Now I'm going to add a cup of milk, which is the next thing that we need. And again, I use whole milk. I would assume you could use any type, but I use the one with the red cap. And I put a whole cup in here. All right, let me mix this in, and then I'll show you that. All right, I want to tell you I got out a bowl because the next thing you're going to do is mix your dry ingredients together. And so I need 3 cups of all-purpose flour. 1, 2, 3. All right, I've got my 3 cups of flour, and then I need to add these other 2 dry ingredients, and they are a half a teaspoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of salt. Let me get my a half a teaspoon. I got my teaspoon out. Hold on just a minute. Again, I want to point out another great use of a container to keep all these in so that you don't have to look through your whole drawer for them. So again, I use these for my organization. But okay, we've got a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and that's not soda, that's powder. And you're just going to take that, you're just going to level off your teaspoon, your half teaspoon, and put it in. Then we're going to do the same thing with the salt. I always put my ingredients up so I know I put it in the bowl. Sometimes you just get sidetracked or you're confused. Okay, I put that in. Then I grab a whisk and I just kind of whisk it together. All right, let me use this. We're gonna add this flour a little bit at a time to our mixture here. So I'll go ahead and put in a cup and probably 2 cups or a cup and a half. And then I'll go ahead and mix this up and we'll come back and we'll add more. All right, I've put the rest of the flour in here and you start off mixing slow so it doesn't go all over your kitchen. And then I'll turn back on the video. The last ingredients that we have to put in is our vanilla. And again, as I always remind you, it's 1 teaspoon of vanilla, but you need to use pure vanilla extract, not imitation. Let me just do it over here so I don't spill too much in.
So what is imitation even for?
Well, some people use it, but I think that it's a lot better because it's a pure form and it's stronger to just use regular pure vanilla extract. All right, I'm going to mix this up. Oh, I want to tell you something as this is mixing. Basically, you can make this any flavor. I just put in the vanilla, but if you wanted a lemon pound cake, you could add lemon. If you wanted whatever type of flavor you want, some people like almond. Any of those flavors, you can just add it this time instead of the vanilla. Okay, I'll mix this up and come back. All right, that is, let me get this attachment off. And then you can kind of see what your batter is. It's a thick, big batter that you're going to use. And so I just give it a couple of swirls around, let it sit for a minute. And while I'm doing that, I come over here to go ahead and prepare my cake pan. Now, when I cook a pound cake, I like using this bundt pan. I like the old-fashioned look. It gives it, if you let it cool completely and you're having a party or something, you always put a little bit of powdered sugar over the top, sprinkled, and it looks real pretty. All I'm going to do today, because I'm not greasing this pan, is I'm just going to use this cooking spray, and I'm going to make sure that I cover. I'll show you the pan when I'm done. Cover it completely. I don't like using this ahead of time and letting it sit in the pan while I mix the cake batter, because it sits too long and it gets greasy in the bottom. So I prefer not to do that. I don't know if it really matters. It's just a personal preference. So you can see this is well covered. The part in here, and this way the cake should not stick at all. Although sometimes with a pound cake you never know. I'll empty this batter evenly into this pan. Now you can use loaf pans if that's your preference, and you'd still cook them for the hour and 20 minutes. Now you can see how full this pan's getting with this batter. And if I get a little too much on one side, I just kind of move it around. It's not a big deal. Again, you can see I dropped some. I told you I'm a mess in the kitchen. I don't think it matters. And I just kind of go like this around, spreading it. I like it uneven on the top when it cooks. It's fine with me. All right, so I've emptied my cake batter into the pan. Kind of smooth it around. And, tastes good. That's it. So now I'm going to put it in the oven for an hour and 20 minutes. And once it comes out, I'll cut it and show it to you. Set the timer. Got it on. All right, thank you very much for learning how to make this pound cake, and we'll show you the end result after it's cooked, an hour and 20 minutes from now. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time in just a few minutes.